Thank you for staying with us this hour here on One America News. I'm Stephanie Myers. The House passes President Trump's preferred budget bill in a slim 217 to 215 vote. Well, here to discuss this and other pressing issues further is Wisconsin Congressman Scott Fitzgerald, who represents the state's 5th congressional district. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good to be with you. Good to be with you, Stephanie.
First, I want to get your take on this budget bill because the key difference between this one and the Senate's version was extending the 2017 Trump tax cuts. However, Democrats slammed the bill, with Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries saying not only does this set in motion the largest Medicaid cut in American history, but the tax cuts will only benefit the ultra wealthy. What's your reaction to all of this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pleased that Speaker Johnson had the ability to push through last night, basically the keys that unlock really this entire process that we've been talking about since President Trump won re-election back in November, and that was reconciliation. It's something that the Speaker did a good job, I think, of trying to explain to members that this was simply a framework that both the Senate and the House could work off of. I will say I think the House version that went through last night was certainly, I think, a more comprehensive attempt to kind of lay out a path for the reconciliation process. Some of the things that the House addressed were not things that the Senate took up. So I think overall, we're in a pretty good position as of this morning.
And Senate Majority Leader John Thune said that the Senate's version, that was essentially sort of a plan B, a backup bill, essentially. But the House, as you mentioned, and as we saw last night, got through Trump's preferred budget bill. I want to switch gears because you've talked about the work DOGE has done to root out government waste and restore fiscal responsibility. But nearly 24 DOGE staffers resigned on Tuesday, even though Harvard Cap's Harris poll shows 76% of Americans support DOGE's efforts. Is this string of resignations concerning?
Yeah, I mean, what we're hearing in the office and back at home in the district when we did office hours was, I think, a lot of uncertainty from some of my constituents that really, I don't think, kind of have a full grasp of what DOGE is doing. And quite honestly, there's members of Congress, too, that I think would like to have a heightened awareness of some of the specifics that they're starting to find, because those are all things that could be plugged into our overall budget in the future, down the road a couple months from now when we get closer to that final negotiation with the Senate. So we also are up against March 15th, which was the end of the current continuing resolution that we're operating under. So that's another factor in all of these discussions that are happening in both the House and the Senate right now.
And you've been named as the chair of the Judiciary Subcommittee on the Administrative State, Regulatory Reform, and Antitrust. What do you want the public to know about what your subcommittee has uncovered so far and the subcommittee's goals this congressional session?
Yeah, I was very proud to take over the subcommittee. Chairman Jordan called me a couple months ago and said, listen, there's going to be a lot of action in this committee, but he thought that I was certainly up to it, and I was honored by that. And since then, we've had two full-blown subcommittee hearings, the first one dealing with the fires in Los Angeles, and the second one a little more mundane, kind of straightforward stuff that's related to antitrust. But really, I think we're off and running. This Congress is getting a lot done right now with the cooperation and with the efforts of the White House. So, yeah, I'm very pleased about where we're at right now.
And I want to talk a little bit more about that hearing regarding the California wildfires, which had devastated the LA community and displaced tens of thousands of residents. What would you what do you want people to know about the leadership? Because we know that the fire chief was recently fired by Mayor Karen Bass. Is this a step in the right direction based on the hearing that you conducted? And what would you like to see moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that came out in the subcommittee hearing was that there's a lot of finger pointing going on in California right now about whose fault it was. And obviously, Mayor Bass has kind of led the way in certainly, I think, not taking full responsibility for where we're at right now. The one thing that emerged, I think, from our hearing was the discrepancy between what these dwellings were insured for compared to what it's going to take to replace them, and if they can even be replaced at that same level, which it doesn't sound like they are. So this is kind of a unique situation. We've dealt with hurricanes and we've dealt with flooding and other fires in other parts of the country, but this is a very specific high-end portion of California that was involved in these fires, and it's going to be a challenge to replace that area of LA.
Absolutely. But again, your subcommittee, you're doing the work. We are paying attention, and we'll have to see what else we can uncover during this congressional session from your subcommittee. Again, Wisconsin Representative Congressman Scott Fitzgerald, representing the state's 5th congressional district. Thank you so much again for your time this morning.
Thank you, Stephanie. It was good to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.